Good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Podcast. This is the Red, White, and Blue Show with me, Billy. We've got Connor and Josh. If you like what you're coming up here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe comment as well if you think we're saying is absolute rubbish, or if you agree with us. Maybe it'd be nice to know. In the next couple of days, there will be a new merch drop of the next line of clothing on the merch site. Please do take a look at that as well if you want to keep supporting the channel. It really helps us keep making stuff here. So, yeah, please do consider it. Thank you very much. Right, guys, I think we're going to start with our NFL this week. So, what do you guys think of this off-season? Connor, let's start with you if you don't mind.
Yeah, nice and slow, it's back to normal for my Dolphins. Last year we were out of our normal and actually doing something, which I found quite odd. I'm not used to having my team do anything in the offseason, so it was quite nice to have us be doing a lot, but we're back to the normal of, great, we've drafted this person, and we've re-signed these people. That's pretty much our season.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you, Josh? How are you thinking?
Decent so far for Baltimore Ravens. Low, I'm particularly unpleased that we've not really strengthened out in the wide receiver area. We know our passing game, our throwing game has been a bit of an issue for us. Trying to, if we go behind in games, I'm starting to throw the ball. We don't really have any big wide receivers. We don't have a Tyler Lockett or a DK Metcalf or Dwayne or Van Parker. We've got Marquise Brown, who's not particularly. Nothing special. We did draft a wide receiver there in the first round, but he's nothing. He didn't do anything he didn't do anything particularly amazing in college. We got Sammy Watkins from Kansas City. He's okay, but he's got quite a severe injury. He's got quite a severe injury-prone record. So trying to keep him healthy in the first place is quite difficult. So we have improved the O-line. The O-line was a big issue last season. We didn't actually have a proper center at center. They said he actually cost us the game against the Bills in the playoffs. So it's good to get It was good to get that issue. It's good to get the O-line sorted. We got a defensive end, but wide receiver still a big issue. I feel like if we go behind in games, so we're going to be struggling because our wide receivers are either extremely unproven or extremely inconsistent.
Yeah,
I'm trying to block I tried to block the O-line out of my mind, but thank you for bringing it back. That back up. As I told you, started. The Dolphins have already lost an O-lineman for the entire year. DJ Fluker, who we just signed this offseason, to a deal on the OR, so he's gone for the year. And then we have.
You got DJ Fluker from us, didn't you?
Yeah.
He was from us.
Got him from you, and now that trade is ending. Either if it's a trade or whatever, ended up being a complete bust on our end because we've now had him gone out for the entire year. And then, of course, I'm scared because we have Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and another player all on the physically unable to perform list. And I looked further, we also have another player on the COVID list. So life in the Dolphins camp is going just swimmingly. We've helped our defense. We got a wide receiver, what Josh would desperately want. We picked up another good wide receiver that's proven and really, really going to be decent. But God, the O-line, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Tua is not a big man. He will get squished.
Well, it depends if you can sort of mold Tua. Oh, sorry. Oh god, okay. It depends if you can use get Tua into more of a mindset of like the better running style, like into a shape of more of Lamar Jackson, maybe. I mean, it's not easy, obviously, the ex MVP, but like if you could sort of run him in that direction, then like get him more comfortable outside of the pocket, do you think you could sort of succeed?
I mean, we'll see. I'm nervous. I don't know how good. He didn't really give any Dolphins fan a lot to cheer about last year with his performance when Fitzpatrick wasn't playing, especially the very last game of the year where he cost us the playoffs. But, it's a new season. We won't talk about that. But I think I really wish we would have gotten another another running back, because I honestly think running backs secretly and kind of sneakily are one of our positions of needing improvement desperately. So our O-line and our running back, I think we really need help, but we'll have to see how it goes. I'm hoping he can be the next Lamar Jackson and just be a god, but
yeah,
that's that's prayers.
Yeah, you do feel for too, because you think about the amount of running that Fitzpatrick was doing last season from the goal line. You had big old Fitzpatrick running. He had to run and scramble for his life. You feel for Tua if Fitzpatrick was running that much.
Yeah. The fact that he had to run that. Yeah, and I mean, we did draft a really, really good O-lineman out of Nebraska in the second round, which I was super happy to get. We picked up one of the best defensive players in the draft. The Dolphins sneakily have snuck into this race for the playoffs because we've just accumulated so many picks, and we've actually drafted well for once in our lives. Because this year I think we've had a total in the past 2 drafts, we've had a total of like 17 picks over the course of the last 2 drafts, including like 5 first-rounders. So like this year we had 2, and we picked Waddle, and then we picked what's his name, and I'm gonna kick Jalen Phillips out of Miami, who was over the moon to stay home, and he's an edge rusher which was going into the offseason our biggest need, because our only edge rusher we released. At the end of the season, we released our only edge rusher that was semi-decent because he was a bit of a knob, and he was very good. And so luckily we were able to get we were I think every Dolphins fan was very happy to see him fall to us, especially because we didn't take him with our first round pick. We took him with the second one, I think at 14. Yeah. So happy to see him drop. We'll have to see. I think we're going to make the playoffs, but we've been shit for so long. I wouldn't be surprised if we're back out of the playoffs again.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to get back on my Seahawks, like my precious Seahawks. Like they've been so quiet this offseason, apart from obviously the Russell Wilson thing. But thankfully we've got through that. All clean sailing, no dramas there. Thank God for that. I mean, it was a horrid couple of months where I was really stressing about that. And now we've re-signed most of the new line, or at least replaced them. We've re-signed Chris Carson to get a half-decent running game going, hopefully. I mean, if his Jim V is anything to go by, I mean, he should be up there now.
Yeah, it's all well and good until you get Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, obviously. But like Saquon Barkley's a freak of nature, man. You can't compare the two fairly, surely.
Why compare the fact that he snapped his ACL last year? It's all well and good that you snap your ACL and then that's your season. I mean, I'm trying to. I kind of want to put a pool for put a betting pool on which running back will do it this year. Because 2 years ago it was David Johnson. Last year it was Saquon Barkley. So who's the big name that's going to snap their ACL this year? Is it going to be the Saints running back?
I don't even know. I don't even.
Which running back snaps their ACL in week 2 this year? Because David Johnson snapped it week 3 and 2 years ago, and then week 2
and then Barkley did it.
And then week 2, because I had Barkley on my fantasy team last year, and he gave me 3 and then snapped his ACL.
I mean, you got to look at the run-heavy team, surely. So, and unfortunately, Josh, I want to say
it's got to be him.
It's probably the most morbid bet of all time. Just who snaps their ACL this year?
Oh God. Yeah, who does it? Who does it?
Yes, he snaps his ankle. That's $50.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Josh, I want to say the Ravens based on someone like J.K. Dobbins. I'm a bit worried just based on how run heavy their offense is.
Yeah, with the Ravens, you have to be worried about Lamar Jackson with how much he runs. He's pretty much a running back, and he snaps his ACL. That's the Ravens' season down the toilet.
You're stuffed.
That's absolutely stuffed.
Have you seen our backup quarterbacks this year? Chase McSorley or Tyler Huntley. That's the backups to Lamar this year. Which RG3 got released.
We got I think Trevor Brissett from the Colts. He's our backup this year. So he started for the Colts last year, and now he's backing up Tua this year. So I can breathe. and I'm pissed
I
too.
don't even know who the Seattle backup is.
That's
the worst part.
The worst part is we had Tannehill for years.
Yeah, and
now he's on Tennessee and turned into what the hell?
Well, there's no pressure on him now, is there? Because he's got Derrick Henry behind him.
There's no pressure, and he's got a decent. It's so frustrating. We've had so many good players. It makes me laugh. So one thing they actually broke down. So we drafted that bum Laramie Tunsil, who's now like one of the best offensive linemen in the game. We drafted him even though he had the whole gas mask episode. And they broke it down. His one trade, when we traded him to the Texans, netted us 4 players and 5 picks. 3 of those being first rounders from just that one trade.
Yeah.
That was the best move we've ever made.
That was really dumb on the Texans' part. Like, really dumb, considering.
He's ended up being one of the best offensive linemen in the game. So, fair enough. But
it took time to get him into it, though.
The Texans are kind of ran like the Rockets and the Knicks and they just very badly.
Yes.
One of the worst run organizations there. I would have loved to have Deshaun Watson. We could have had.
Who wouldn't?
We could have had. We were the front runners for Deshaun Watson, and then.
Yep.
Now he might not even play.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Where is anyone really that desperate for a quarterback? They're like accept a potential sexual assault accusee.
I would say the Packers, but they've had Rodgers now stay.
Rodgers going to stay now, surely, at the Packers to go on that tangent now. He has to now that he's got Randall Cobb back. He's got Adams expecting big money as well.
Yeah, he's got to stay.
Surely.
I think he'll stick around, but I don't think the Packers will do that well. I think he'll stay healthy, but I think injuries will happen elsewhere to them that he's going to walk after this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's going to see everybody but him get injured this year, unlike last year where it was him getting injured for forever. And he's going to go, okay, so our medical staff has done absolutely nothing to keep our players on the field. We've missed the playoffs. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, do you think he retire or leave?
No, I think he'll leave, and I think he's going to go to Denver.
You think? That's interesting. Josh, what are you going to say? Sorry?
I think he'll retire.
Right.
I think he'll retire because he was going to retire there. He was contemplating it. He was generally contemplating retiring, so I think he will.
I don't think he wants to retire before Brady, though. I think it's embarrassing if you retire before Brady, though, and you've been in the league.
It wasn't so bad for Drew Brees, was it?
Brady will play.
Yeah,
Brady will play until he's 50.
Brady will play until he collapses, as long as they don't do any more Philly specials.
Yeah, that was not a good idea of their part. He died.
He does that against the Dolphins, and I hope that Xavier Howard absolutely blows him to smithereens.
Xavier Howard to pick it before he tackles him.
No, but see, the thing is, that would be great. I would love for him to somehow find a way to do both. Just somebody run Brady over and have it be one of those where like they catch it, they hit so hard that it pops up in the air, and then Xavier's like, and I'll take that, and bye-bye. Yeah,
like another Buffalo Bill special.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
Fucking Buffalo Bills.
I mean, yeah, like he's.
Why did they have to get good at the same time we did? We had the division. Brady left. Brady left. He left the Patriots. We had our chance, and the Bills went, yeah, we're going to get good now. It was a 3-horse race for second between the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills for a decade. And then as soon as Brady leaves and we get a chance to finally take the division, Bills are like, fuck off.
Do you think the Patriots will do well next year with Cam Newton?
No.
Not if they start Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I think Max is perfect for them because you get
not if they start Cam Newton.
You get what's his name? I fucking hate that coach so
Mac
much.
Jones.
No, the freaking head coach.
Oh, Belichick.
Belichick's such a piece of. I'm gonna stop swearing because I forgot that we're warned not to swear.
Yeah, that's getting angry.
I hate him so much. I cannot stand his mannerisms or his attitude. But I think he gets the perfect person for his system with Mac Jones because he's a lot like Brady with his. He's definitely a pocket passer who can he can. Cam Newton's someone who isn't a pocket passer and likes to run, and Mac Jones is more of like, I'll run if I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But I would like to stay here in my pocket. And that's a lot how Brady was.
I think, yeah.
I think
that's how he's probably going to develop eventually.
Yeah. Belichick's looking at his ass and licking his lips about how good Mac Jones is going to be.
That's some image.
He's deflating his balls as he looks at Mac Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised in the first place when they picked up Cam Newton anyway. So it just doesn't seem like the right fit at all. And I think that sort of came true like last year where they just didn't really do too much.
He struggled so much. The offense of the Patriots last year was so bad. It was criminally awful.
Yeah.
Manning in that Super Bowl ended his career. That's where the problem started. Because he got annihilated by that Broncos defense in the Super Bowl, and he's never been the same.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point, actually.
That defense, I think, sacked him like 8 times that game. And I think they had like 17 quarterback hits, and he's just never been the same.
No, I think you could tell he lost his confidence like halfway through the game when they like conceded a fumble, and he could have died for it, but just sort of fell on top of the players already there.
Yeah, I think that was kind of his moment where he's like, I'm scared. Yeah. And then he just kept getting hurt, and it's just kind of like, I feel like his career is, if he doesn't do something this year, I think his career is over.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you.
Because not only is he injury prone, but he's lost a lot of his confidence. And when you lose your confidence as a quarterback, where confidence is a big thing, where you need to have big confidence to be a good quarterback, that can kill your entire career. Like, look at Bridgewater. Bridgewater's come back from a bad injury and has been solid and very confident and doesn't look like he's up. And so he's gotten a good deal going over to Denver, and I think he's going to do well. But then you look at Newton, and that confidence is shot.
Well, like, it's weird because Cam Newton's such a persona. Like, I found that, like, whenever I see Instagram videos, he's like in the gym doing stuff. He's shouting at the camera like, "This is my year, and stuff like that.
He's
and
like
then he goes out. Well, I mean, LeBron actually shows up most of the time.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's kind of an interesting game, like an interesting mind games like he plays. Whereas like he thinks he plays, it's like the fake till you make it quarterback, as opposed to.
Except he never makes it.
Except he never makes it. Yeah. So he's a weird one. It's interesting about Teddy Bridgewater as well, because he's obviously been all over the shop, and then he tear his ACL, I think.
Yeah, he had a dreadful year where he like got knocked out unconscious in one game from a hit by one of the dirtiest players to ever play the game, and then just tore his ACL, and he was so good with the Vikings. He was a baller with the Vikings, and then he got injured.
Good.
That was it. They brought in Kirk Cousins, and he was.
Yeah, I think that's a real shame. Like, but now he's like coming as like a veteran hand on the shoulder for like Drew Lock, I think, and I think that's going to come really good for Denver. Just like they're going to go really under the radar. I think they're going to be like good, but I think they're going to just miss out on the playoffs. Maybe get a wild card spot, but I think they're going to do massive.
So that they're coming back, and I'm not surprised. Denver, I think, has got one of the front offices in the entire league. I mean, when you have two ex NFL players that were both very, very smart players as the people running. You're going to do pretty well. I mean, John Elway is one of the smartest players to play the game. And that's why I think the Niners have come back really well as well, because they have John Lynch as their head of their front office. So I think people underestimate when you make an ex-player, especially one that played at a skill position.
Yeah.
When you get one of them, you're like, it brings that. It's like we talk about it with soccer all the time. We wish that we had, football brains. You look at Van der Sar at Ajax, and you see with Bayern Munich, they brought in an ex-player in for their front office. It helps bring in that mind of somebody who played.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but you see Frank Lampard managing Chelsea, and it's a bit.
Yeah, but I think Lampard just made a jump too quickly. I mean, he was great at Darby. You see, as much as I hate it, Slippy G is not my favorite person. But Slippy G's just won a title over at Rangers, so I mean he's doing all right. Rooney,
Rooney's at Derby now.
He's at Derby, and they barely scraped the relegation. But even the fans are like, that was the best we could have hoped for.
Yeah,
because of just how bad it was.
I mean, I totally agree. Actually, now I think that's a great point. Josh, you got anything to add on that?
No, I've Connor has literally summed it up perfectly. I've got nothing to add to that. If it's literally, I literally covered covered every little bit possible. So
he's running the show back there. It's all right. It's good for him. Ex-player.
I have to prove my smarts as an American.
Well, you're paying your dues now, aren't you?
I have to. I can't have any more people burning the American flag because of the damn Glazers.
Yeah.
Gotta show we're not all dumb as bricks. Gotta show we're not all dumb as bricks like those freaking owners. And the Arsenal owners and the Liverpool owners.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on the Arsenal owners.
I mean, don't get me started on Arsenal. Period.
Jeez.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Americans just coming in and ruining the European sport.
Well, that's where this whole Super Cup thing debacle came from. Was because these Americans wanted to. The Americans just wanted to come in and just run the show.
Florentino Perez and all Florentino Perez and the Americans would have been the show. That's the show title. The band name. I mean, the only sport that hasn't been ruined by American ownership is F1, and even then, you can say Haas has run pretty poorly, so they might actually qualify.
I mean, I have nothing to add on F1, unfortunately.
Americans,
not mine.
Americans going to European sports, I'm just going to say, is not worked out very well.
Not worked out well.
It's not gone well in any European sport. We need to stay in American sports, because if we don't, then we just look dumb. Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, I think Connor's sort of run that to death now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I can't go anywhere.
Right, Josh, you brought up something really good before the show we started. You brought up something about the COVID protocols. Like, what were you going to carry on with that if you could, mate?
No, I was going to say, obviously, the NFL taking a very strict stance on the COVID protocols this year. So if a team can play a game if it's a player or a coach tested positive and obviously close contacts and all of that, if they can't play the game by that Sunday or Monday or whatever they'll be playing, they have to forfeit the game. So this goes for the regular season only, which is obviously not 18, which is obviously 18 weeks instead of 17. We've got an extra week this year or this season. So it's an interesting one. We'll see if players aren't vaccinated or they have to wear masks, they have to socially distance, they have to follow a whole ton of different protocols too if you're vaccinated. So there's a no strict stance from the NFL this year. And obviously there's a fair training camp at during a training camp testing. So it's going to make for a very interesting start of the season. But I don't know. It's a very strict stance. Could all the organizations really keep their players like army trained? Not to go and do this, do that, be stupid. To cost their teams a game week. Because those weeks, if a team has to forfeit, that could be the difference between winning a division, getting to a playoff spot. It could be
a Super Bowl.
Seriously decided. Exactly. So it's.
I'm just imagining some stupid blockhead going and getting himself hurt to the point where someone getting COVID for like the Bucks the week of the Super Bowl and it's like, they forfeit.
Yeah. Yeah, they just go out clubbing, like expecting to win, just catch it.
And it's like, well, you've done
that, guys.
Unlucky.
Well, yeah, because wasn't it was it Julio Jones that came out and said he wasn't sure if he wanted to play for a team if he had to vaccinate?
Yeah.
I think that was quite frankly, that was pretty not smart on his part. Like he's just, if it was Julio, I'm pretty sure it was. If he comes out and says that he's just joined a new organization, he's almost instantly put his reputation on the line just with those comments. It just seems a bit silly to me. And then you've got people like Ron Rivera as well.
Yeah,
he's screaming at players.
Not the best decision, but Julio's played enough. If he needs to retire, he can.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then, like Ron Rivera as well. Like he's immune deficient because of his chemo treatment, I think.
Yeah.
And now, like, if people don't vaccinate around him, he could actually feasibly
die.
He could actually die. Unfortunately,
the one coach I love purely because he makes me laugh. He looks like an American every time you look at his face. Andy Reid. Just purely looks like an old school American dude, and I love the giant face mask he had last year. He didn't have a face mask.
Oh, the shield.
The giant shield, and you could see the spittle in the shield every time he yelled. That's the most hilarious thing of all time.
Oh, and he loves it. He loves his cheeseburgers. Like the moment he holds it like the Lombardi Trophy, and then eats it at the ceremony. Oh my god!
I love
every single time.
I'm so envious of the stash. That's a beautiful. He's held that stash. It's a beautiful
bit of facial hair.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I look like a pedophile every time I grow a beard. If I grow a freaking mustache, I look like I need to be locked up. So I'm definitely a little bit jealous.
Oh man.
Andy Reid, watching Andy Reid go up and down the touchline during a game is quite funny. The guy wobbles along really slowly. But he goes. It's like an exercise for him just to go up and down that touchline for a whole team.
Well, his whole body goes all over the place when he runs. It's like a giant blob of just like moving parts.
But wasn't he a kicker as a player?
Was he? No, he was an O-lineman, wasn't he?
What did he play? I'm going to figure out what he played.
I'm sure.
I think he was an O-lineman at one point. I think because he there's an ex-NFL NFL.com I think as an analyst. He did a video on like who created the spread offense. And Andy Reid came up, and I think Andy Reid got so good at like learning that kind of offense because he played underneath at college. He played for one of the guys that was almost credited with it. He was like one of the disciples, if you were. Like that's how like he got so tuned into those things, is because Andy Reid played O-line. I'm pretty sure that's where he got it from, and that's just blew my mind. But it also makes a perfect sense.
So he was an offensive tackle at Glendale Community College.
There you go.
And then at BYU. But here's a funny tidbit about Andy Reid that I've just seen. Reid appeared on Monday Night Football at 13, right, 1971, during the punt, pass, and kick competition. But he was so large at 13, he wore the jersey of a player named Les Josephson. Les Josephson was 6'1", 207. And he had to wear his jersey on live television at 13. That's absolutely.
Oh my god.
That's brilliant.
That's enormous.
Yeah, he apparently. He graduated from BYU after playing with them, and then that's where he started his coaching career for a year as a graduate assistant. And then he just moved around the college level a lot, being an O-line coach, and went up to and then he ended up going to the Packers in '92 as an assistant coach, and so he was actually was the assistant coach. His first year as assistant coach was the very first year Brett Favre was a Green Bay Packer. If we want to really dial back the first year that Favre was a Packer was Andy Reid's first year in the NFL after he spent 9 years coaching in college.
Jeez. That's just a credit to him, really, isn't it?
He's 63.
Wow. He's been around a long time, though.
63.
Yeah, so he started his coaching career in 1982.
Oh my god, he's been going at it since college, isn't he?
This next year will be 30 years that he's been coaching.
Wow.
That was incredible.
That blows my mind.
The fact that he's only 63 as well, like that means you literally he started coaching in his early 30s.
Yeah. Wow.
He was in his early 30s.
That 30 years in the NFL. Was that 30 years coaching in total?
30 years coaching.
Oh my
in total. He started as a graduate assistant at BYU after graduating in 1982. His first year it'll be 20 years in the NFL next year because he started with the Packers in 92.
Mm.
And so he worked. I mean, fair play to him. He was Green Bay Packers assistant offensive line and tight end coach for 4 years, and then he got to be the quarterback's coach and the assistant coach. And then where everybody really, if you're an Andy Reid fan, where you remember him being a Philadelphia Eagles coach.
Philadelphia, yeah.
He held that position for 13 years.
Wow. became
head coach in 1999 and finally left in 2012.
Crikey.
And then has come to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2013 and been with them ever since. So he's been with 3 teams in his entire 20-year NFL career.
I think of the number of like an Andy Reid tangent now if we feel like it. I think of the number of like Hall of Fame quarterbacks that he's coached now. If he's coached Brett Favre, he's gone through. He must have gone through Aaron Rodgers at some point as well. If that was
and Mahomes as well. Mahomes is going to end up really good.
Mahomes is obviously he's almost certainly going to be in. If he was with the Philadelphia Eagles from the mid 2000s, wasn't that Donovan McNabb?
Yes, he did have Donovan McNabb as one of his as his. That was his very first pick. His very first pick he made. He came in pick number 2 in the first round of his first season. I think we put Josh to sleep with our Andy Reid talk. The very first pick he made was Donovan McNabb, even though he didn't start him year 1.
Wow!
I think we literally put Josh to sleep.
Have we? Some put sleeping down, isn't it?
No, I'm no, it's because my camera. It's because my camera's lagging. So if reason, that's it. my internet's been really bad today. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, that's fine. As long as you're here, Josh.
So he's had. So this is interesting.
I'm still here. I can hear you clearly.
11 of Andy Reid's assistants have gone on to be head coaches.
Wow.
11 of his assistant coaches.
John Harborough,
John Rivera, Pat Shermer, Todd Bowles,
Doug Peterson,
Matt Nagy, who's now the coach for the Chicago Bears. There's a ton. It's insane how many of his. Insane how many of his assistants have become. And I think
I felt bad for Doug Peterson. I felt bad for Doug Peterson. He had a really hard time with the Eagles after that Super Bowl. With all the injuries he was picking up every single year, then Carson Wentz was falling apart year beyond year. I felt bad for him at the Eagles because he had something special and it all just capitulated season beyond season.
It all fell apart very quickly.
He got sacked.
Hold up! I have a picture here of young Andy Reid.
Oh my goodness!
And let me tell you, that stash has been around since 1982.
That is one attractive young man.
He actually has hair. Look at him.
That was him as a player in BYU in 1979.
Wow.
He has had that stash for as long as you can
remember. He's been rocking it.
He's been fair enough too, but it's a sexy stash, so I don't blame him.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, he got a wife really early, I think, so... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The wife fix it, you're good.
Mm.
Do we think Andy Reid's Chiefs will be, because obviously Mahomes had that turf toe in the Super Bowl, which probably affected their chances of winning it quite heavily because the offense for he was awful in the Super Bowl. Do you think the Chiefs could do it for a first year run in terms of keeping up there and seeing records and seeing stats?
Well, personally, I don't.
So
I think
it's tough.
Yeah. Like, I disagree with you, Josh. Like, firstly, like, I don't think Mahomes actually played that bad a game. Like, when you think about it, he was just being chased down by a ridiculously good front seven that had his number, called his number most plays. But like, when you look at it, also like he ran for something like 550 odd yards, like behind the like just in total. So like to say that his toe played a factor, it might have done on his throwing, but it definitely didn't on his running. Like, and he still made plays, and his receivers dropped a lot of balls. Like, I think Tyreek Hill had one in his hands that he was double teamed up on. He had it in his hands and just bobbled out. So I don't think you can entirely put it on Mahomes if they lost.
They did a special on Andy Reid and all the things that you like. If you have these stats as a coach, everybody who has those stats is an NFL Hall of Famer as a coach. And the stat line for him is ridiculous. I know this is going to be Andy Reid and the other guys, because but he's got 3 rings in his career. He's won 2 out of every 3 games over 10-year career.
Oh my God!
One of 4 people sharing it with Flaherty, Tony Dungy, and John Madden. He led he technically led a legendary dynasty, because I mean that even though that Eagles team never won a ring, God, that Eagles team for so long was so good.
Yeah, they were a force for a long time, weren't they? Wait, who did he win? So who did he win his rings with if he didn't win them with Philadelphia? 2 with Green Bay.
2 with Green Bay, and then 1 with the Chiefs.
And 1 with Kansas City. Huh. That's So, but if you say he's going to lead another one, he's led one dynasty already. He's going to lead another realistically.
Well, I mean,
like,
if you look,
he's got the makings of one here in Kansas.
He's been here since 2013. They had an 8-game playoff losing streak that is just since 1993 when he took over. In his 8 seasons, he's had 7 postseason appearances, 5 division titles, 3 AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a title in 8 years.
That's all right, isn't it?
You can. I mean, even if you take away his Philadelphia Eagles time as a coach, that's a Hall of Fame career right there, just doing those 8 years.
Yeah, it has to be.
So he won 2 titles. He's won 1 with the Packers as the assistant coach, and then 1 with the Chiefs as the head coach. He was the 2002 Coach of the Year, 2002, and 2018 Sporting News Coach of the Year, and then he's also actually a member of the Philadelphia Eagles 75th anniversary team. So out of all the coaches and players that have been a part of the Eagles organization, he is he was the coach put up for that team.
The coach. Wow. I mean, yeah, that's a testament to him, really, wasn't it?
His career coaching record is he boasts a 62% winning record over regular and postseason.
Wow.
238, 145, and 1. That's his record.
That's blown my mind.
It's just baffling, yeah, right? Like, I don't want to seem like I'm writing Andy Reid's freaking 63-year-old dick here, but it's just baffling some of the stuff he's achieved in his the stuff that he's achieved in his career is absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah. It's
people don't realize that enough. He's absolutely
even what he's done in such a short period of time is incredible. Yeah. That Chiefs team.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I would love to have one of his careers, like one of his tenure. Give me his Packers tenure where he was just an assistant coach. Give me his Philadelphia Eagles tenure, or give me his Kansas City tenure, and I will happily scream and cry if you give me one of the 3. And the fact that he said all 3 by himself.
Yeah. The same with Brady. Like, Brady's had 3 different decades. I think he's had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers.
Yeah, that's one thing. It sucks for me because I was a Peyton Manning fan for my entire life. He's my favorite player to ever step foot on the field. So it was always kind of cool for me. I hated Brady for a long time. I still don't really like him, but I hated Brady for a long time just because he was that main rival.
Yeah. But it's really hard to hate Brady now that you see him letting loose in California. Him getting wasted on the boat is just that's the funniest video I saw in that whole.
Gronk has rubbed him in all the right ways. That sounds really, really bad.
It's alright, we can edit that part out. We can beat that out. Don't worry.
Yeah. Please edit that.
Yeah, but it's all fine now.
There's a lot of players. Holy crap! Let me one of like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
There's some players where you just kind of sit and you go, how the heck? Oh, and there you
go. Oh, we'll see Josh in a few minutes, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we want to actually put him to sleep this time, and it wasn't the camera angle.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the camera or the internet.
Yeah, he's like Connor's. Connor's taking over the show. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, shut up, Connor. God.
Once he comes back all quiet down, I'll let him speak.
Yeah. Oh, here he is again.
Oh, here he is.
My internet country is absolutely awful. I don't know what's going on with it.
That's all right.
I'm trying.
My brain is going into gosh, his accent has my brain going into overdrive, just making sure I pick up
Oh no.
Oh, and he's gone again. He's gone again.
It's all right. You can hear us. It's fine. That's what we need.
Seahawks. Where do you think the Seahawks, like, if you have to realistically look at the Seahawks and grade their off season, what kind of grade would you give it?
Like a C+. If I had to, like, they haven't really made any. They haven't made any big moves. The main move was keeping Russell Wilson happy. So they've done that, but apart from that, maybe C+, B-. I'm not really sure how. It's one of the two. But they're all quite close. Yeah, I think just they kept Russell Wilson. They got Chris Carson back. They got Tyler Lockett extended. They've done exactly what they had to do. Nothing more, nothing less. They've done the bare minimum to pass. If that's like to, they haven't really improved anywhere. Their draft class was tiny.
There's one thing you forgot they did. They sacked Schottenheimer. You know, who was ruining your offense last season.
Oh, they have, haven't they?
It's like shit. I forgot about that.
You've now got the former Rams passing game coordinator. As you know,
coordinator. I've been so focused on the players, I forgot about the coaching staff. Oh god, this isn't embarrassing at all.
This episode. The CEO's gonna love editing this one.
Yeah. You just edit this bit out, that'd be great. Thanks.
Awesome. Like
my internet decided to actually start working at the best time possible.
Yeah.
my internet the last 5 minutes is just died. I just give up.
Edit all the embarrassing bits and edit enough of my stuff so it doesn't look like I'm the one running the show, because I'm definitely not supposed to be.
Oh no!
Like don't cut as much stuff as you want out of my stuff, so it looks like I'm just a minor character.
God,
I remember Schottenheimer last year. He was trying to get Seahawks to throw in the deep ball every single possible time.
Yeah, it didn't work at all, did it?
The deep balls that he was getting Russell Wilson to throw every game, it was insane. It was deep throw.
Why? It could have been. DK Metcalf on your team doesn't mean you can do it every play.
It could have been a free 2, a 3rd and a 2, and he could have been throwing it for 40 yards down the line.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as a running game with the Seahawks last year.
I mean, the only running game you could get is you get whatever her name is, Russell Wilson's wife, and you just put her like right behind the end zone, and he will do anything he can to get in that end zone. He will easily get some yardage.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's just in his mind. Hopefully, she's not actually there, just like waiting to get hit by some linebacker or something.
I can just imagine like the cameraman getting smoked by like a lineman, and you just see his wife just get absolutely squished by like a 350-pound lineman, and it's just like, well, I don't think Russell's going to play for us.
Another key thing, for this NFL season, top of before it goes, full stadiums are back. The noise of the noise of the third of the 12th for the Seattle Seahawks is going to be
full 12.
That's going to make massive differences this year too, because
that's going to be huge.
Because there was obviously some fans in some grounds last year, and there's some capacity. And the Dolphins obviously had some fans, but at their home games, the Chiefs had games all year. The Browns got some. The Ravens didn't have any at all. Seahawks didn't have any at all. So it's going to make a very big difference next year when you've got the full crowds back. Cheer on the
Where is the Super Bowl this year as well?
LA.
They announced it.
LA's new stadium.
Okay. Well, for all we know, like based on the restrictions, they might not even get there, will they?
You know what? That's actually. Okay. That's not far. Well, that's actually rather far from me, but it's in my state. It counts. I can count it as being close to me because it's in my state.
Yeah, but California's big and long.
Yeah. Going from the northern tip to the southern tip takes about 16 hours.
That's like half time, I guess, to the top of the UK to the bottom.
Yeah, that's just our state.
And they are going ahead with the London games this year, but they're terrible. The London games are awful.
You know what? I will say this: as an American, which I don't get to say often, I don't get to talk about being an American in a positive light a lot when I'm talking to Europeans, because a lot of American things aren't good. And we've had a lot of problems recently with protests and the like, but we are first in the middle count. We are first by 1. We have 41 over China's 40.
Yay!
But China has 19 gold medals. It's so annoying.
I mean, China is a bit of a cheat code when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, but then you'd say, why isn't India doing well?
Funding.
Funding is probably
the number one reason, I'd argue.
I think that we get the same kind of words from anytime I talk to somebody from Pakistan, they always say the only reason they're not winning the World Cup is because they've been banned from participating.
we should go to the boss to make an Olympics podcast.
I mean, let me see. I think your British women's soccer team just actually did pretty well.
No, they didn't. They lost to Australia in extra time.
Oh, did they lose to Australia? I thought they beat Australia today. But...
Nope. It was extra. Yeah, 4-3 extra time. I think it was.
We won our game in a penalty shootout, so we're through.
Oh, you good? Well, good for you guys.
Yeah, right. We got to have something as Americans. We're not good in soccer. We're not great in a lot of things where we have to compete with the rest of the world.
If the Americans don't win baseball, I'll laugh.
No, softball though, isn't it? It's a bit different.
Softball, we lost. We lost to Japan in the final.
Oh.
Our biggest rivals in softball, Japan. We lost to them in the final, so that was fun. But yeah,
how did you lose the sport that you created?
It's massive in Japan.
You guys pretty much did that in the Euros though this year, didn't you? You guys created the sport and then lost in the final.
It's a great point.
I'm no Irish. I don't. Yeah. I doesn't bother.
You
didn't have a chance either way, Josh.
I wanted England to lose. I was cheering on for it. So.
You're still shaking your fist at Declan Rice and Jack Grealish.
Yeah, Jack Grealish.
I was just happy because I'm Scottish and Swiss, so we had one team that finally got into a tournament for once, and then one team that beat France and should have beat Spain. The refs were freaking corrupt in that game. I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
We were absolutely hosed. But that's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there. Oh well. Well, if none of you have anything more to add, I think that's probably going to wrap it up for today's show. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Josh, for joining along.
Thank you.
And yeah, again, cheers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.